Were black people already in America when slave trade started? Absolutely. There's a real good book called They Came Before Columbus. A lot of great resources, a lot of great references in that book. And we realized that people came from Africa and were already doing a trade and barter with the Mayans long before anybody ever came to the Americas, the European. Matter of fact, this was so long ago, they weren't dealing directly with Mayans initially, they were dealing with the Teotihuacans, a culture that existed before the Mayans. And remnants of the Teotihuacans and the African trade exist in the jungles down there. We left these gigantic big stone Olmec heads. And so not only did they trade and barter, but they also even married in with each other and started having children in the Americas. And this was the beginning of the black African race in the actual Americas. We became some of the indigenous tribes here. So some tribes were already here long before Columbus accidentally thought he was heading to India and ran into the Caribbean islands. That's how he got here. He thought he was in India. That's how we got the name Indians. So we started calling people Indians, which is actually an insult to an indigenous American. They're not Indians, they're indigenous Americans, natives, but we call them Indians because of Christopher Columbus. That's an insult to them. And so people were here long before 1492.
Well, hold on, we don't have evidence of that.
This passage blends some well-established historical facts with several claims that go well beyond what the available evidence supports. It also uses a number of persuasive techniques that make the narrative sound coherent, even where the evidentiary chain is weak. Here's a breakdown. Number 1, appeal to authority. Open quote, "There's a real good book called They Came Before Columbus," close quote. This is an appeal to authority. Simply citing a book is not, by itself, evidence that every conclusion in the book is accepted. The strength of a historical claim depends on the quality of the underlying evidence and whether it has withstood scholarly scrutiny. Number 2, overstatement. Open quote, "We realized," close quote. Who is we? Scholars have not reached a consensus that Africans established large settlements in the Americas before Columbus or that they founded indigenous tribes. Using "we realized" suggests a broad agreement that doesn't exist. Number 3, hasty generalization. The argument moves from open quote, "possible pre-Columbian African contact," close quote, .2, open quote, "Africans married into indigenous populations," close quote, "we became indigenous tribes," close quote. Even if there were isolated contacts or individuals, that would not justify concluding that African populations broadly became the ancestors of indigenous nations across the Americas. Number 4, false cause. The speaker argues African contact, trade, marriage, therefore indigenous tribes descended from Africans. Those steps require evidence at every stage. One does not automatically lead to the next. Number 5, unsupported historical leap. Open quote, "The Toltecans," close quote, open quote, "left these gigantic Olmec heads," close quote. This conflates distinct cultures. The Olmec civilization flourished roughly 1200 to 400 BCE. The Toltecs flourished much later, roughly 900 to 1200 CE. The Olmec heads are attributed by archaeologists to the Olmec civilization, not the Toltecs. Number 6, misuse of archaeological evidence. The Olmec heads are presented as proof of African settlement. This is a long-standing claim, but archaeologists generally interpret the heads as depicting Olmec rulers with features characteristic of the local population. The sculptures themselves are not considered evidence of African migration. Number 7, narrative compression. Thousands of years of Mesoamerican history are compressed into one story. Toltecs, Mayans, Africans, Olmecs, Indians, slave trade. These civilizations existed in different places and times, making the narrative much more complex than presented. Number 8, equivocation. The word "we" changes meaning repeatedly. Sometimes it refers to Africans then, Black Americans then, indigenous peoples then, enslaved Africans. The shifting reference makes the story feel continuous without clearly distinguishing the groups involved. Number 9, partial truth, used as a foundation. The speaker correctly notes, open quote, "Columbus thought he had reached Asia," close quote. That's broadly accurate. He also correctly notes that the term Indian arose because Europeans believed they had reached the Indies. Those true statements are then used as a foundation for claims that require separate evidence. Number 10, emotional framing. Open quote, Indian is actually an insult. Close quote. This is more nuanced than presented. Many indigenous people prefer terms such as indigenous, Native American, First Nations, Canada, or their specific tribal names. However, others, including many tribal citizens and organizations, still use American Indian as a self-identifier. Whether the term is considered offensive varies by individual and community. Number 11, false dilemma. The implied choice is either Europeans brought Africans or Africans were already here. History allows for multiple possibilities simultaneously. There is evidence of the transatlantic slave trade, and historians continue to investigate possible earlier contacts between different peoples. One does not automatically negate the other. Number 12, burden of proof, shift. Notice how many major claims are asserted without presenting the evidence in the conversation itself. Examples include African Toltec trade, African Toltec intermarriage, Africans becoming indigenous tribes, Olmec heads proving African ancestry. These are substantial historical claims, and each would require specific archaeological, documentary, linguistic, or genetic evidence. Number 13, storytelling over documentation. The argument is structured as a smooth narrative. Africans arrive, trade, marry, become indigenous. Columbus arrives, later slavery begins. It's an engaging story, but each transition needs to be supported independently. A compelling narrative is not the same thing as a documented historical sequence. Overall assessment. The passage contains a mix of well-supported facts. Columbus believed he had reached lands associated with Asia. The label Indian arose from that mistaken geographic understanding. Indigenous peoples were in the Americas long before European arrival. Claims that remain controversial or unsupported as stated, that Africans were trading extensively with Toltec or Maya civilizations before European contact, that the Olmec heads are evidence of African settlement, that Africans became the ancestors of indigenous tribes across the Americas. A careful historical discussion would separate these points, identify what evidence exists for each, and distinguish between hypotheses, minority interpretations, and conclusions that are widely supported by the available evidence.
We don't have evidence of that.